This story is a work of fiction. This is episode 9, Suicide or Murder.
酒だ。酒を持ってこい。随分と変わっちまって。
Or Motosake.
しかし、あの顔を見ていると酒がまずくなる。それは同感だ。
Ooh. Little flavoring to the drink, perhaps? Yeah, let's try to remember this guy's face. Oh, Jinshi. You poor child.
人士という人物はそのような子供みたいな返事はしない。人士という人物はおもちゃに深く執着しない。新しい仕事です。
Interesting. So I'm assuming that means he has a pattern of obviously becoming bored, finding someone to kind of play with, and then ditching them when he gets bored again. It's not the best characteristic.
身元引き受けの見返りとはスタートの面会だったという。娘にそんなつてがあったとは。そして主はどんな
Not only just one, she's got the whole, was it the 3 princesses?
若いって恐ろしい。
Pretty wild.
まあでも、あれだけ急いで仕事を終わらせて、いざ会いに行ってみれば、知らぬ男と里帰りしているなんて。
Oh, that makes it hurt even more.
晴天の霹靂には違いあるまい。
Bummer. It's kind of funny due to Mamao's density. She's not recognizing his intentions or, I guess, being able to read him emotionally. Which I guess is fair considering that she has the assumption that, you know, he's the Emperor's boy toy. Speaking of toys.
お偉いさんが死んじまいましたとさ。冷たいようだが、顔も名前も知らぬ人間に同情できるほど感傷深くない。
Yeah, I feel the same way.
年齢は急じを過ぎ、死因といえば酒の飲みすぎ。完全に自業自得。酒好きの人間なら、飲みすぎは毒であると分かっているはずです。慢性的に飲み続ければ臓腑を病ませ、一度に大量摂取すれば死に至る場合もあります。
仲間内の宴席で大量の酒を煽ったと聞いている。
それなら死にますね。
だが後年殿は酒に強い。飲みすぎで死んだとは思えん。
死んだ男の名は後年。酒を亀ごと飲み干す豪快な武人で、人柄も良かったという。
Either had a poison potentially, or some other effects.
後年殿が飲んでいたものは亀がひっくり返って全部流れてしまった。
では、その亀に毒が入っていたらわかりませんね。
その通りだ。
Kind of like dissolving into the alcohol itself, maybe.
無茶なことを言っているのは承知の上か。いつも通り無駄にキラキラしてればいいのに。ここ最近の人士様は以前よりもずっと子供のように見えて仕方ない。甘さとしょっぱさが混在している。もともと甘みのある酒に塩味をつけているような。
Oh, okay, so there was some
変わっ
flavoring.
たお味ですね。
ああ、甘いだろう。後年殿の好みなんだ。大の甘党で、いくら上等の燻製肉や岩塩を用意しても手をつけない人だった。昔は辛いもの好きだったが、ある日突然甘党になったと言っていた。食事もほとんど甘味にするくらいに。
糖尿になりますね。
思い出話を
I was about to say, is that like a diabetic?
宴の魚に塩は出ましたか？
ああ、岩塩と月餅と干し肉が出たそうだ。同じものを用意するか？
いえ、その前に飲み終わりますので。
いや、そういう意味じゃ。
I'm not totally knowledgeable in
それと
diabetes,
一
but
つ。
is there some effect that salt has then? If she's kind of asking about that? And does that mean that those are potentially like,
失礼します。
you know, dense salt balls or whatever it was dropped in?
報告書です。
A little coating, yeah. That's kind of the leading theory.
舐めて平気なのか？
これに毒はありません。
塩か？
そうです。人士様。
So making them more salty to drink
後
more,
年様は
which had
あ
more
る日
salt in
突
it,
然甘党
and
に
just
なり、
repeating.
以来甘味しか口にしなかったと。
ああ。
しかし、酒瓶には乾いて粒が残るほどのたくさんの塩が含まれて取りすぎ
It's
ると
like, if
毒にな
anything,
りま
she's
す。
saying, yeah, too much can definitely kill you.
飲んだ酒の量と溶け込んだ塩の量を考えれば、これが原因であってもおかしくはないでしょう。
いやだが、それだけ塩辛いものを飲んだら
I was gonna say, like, if you're having that much
気づ
salt.
かなかったんです。これを見てください。光年様の生活習慣について書かれています。それを読む限り、おそらく光年様は塩味だけがわからなくなっていたかと。
Oh.
まさか。
味覚がなくなる病があります。原因は食の偏りやストレス。
では一体誰が酒瓶に塩を入れたのだ。
甘口の酒が口に合わない人間が魚に出た塩を入れたか、あるいは真面目な人間を毛嫌いする者は多いです。酒の席のちょっとした嫌がらせのつもりで気に入らない人間の酒瓶にいた
I
ず
mean,
らを
similar
仕
to
掛
what
け
we
た。
had with the other
なのに
taster.
相手が平気な顔で
Maybe
飲
she
み
just
続
didn't
けるので、
know.
気づ
Like,
く
she
まで
didn't know it was
加えて
poison
や
at
ろ
the
うと
time
思
when she
うか
gave
も
it
し
to
れない。
the lady, right? So it could be the same thing
教
here,
授。はい。
where they didn't know and they were just kind of like trying to ruin his sweet slash
卑
drinking
怯だよな。
habit.
ここまできっ
And then
か
just
け
gave
を
him too
与え
much
たな
to
ら
kill him. But I
犯
mean,
人を教えた
that'd be
も
kind
同
of
然
crazy.
なのに、私は誰かが罰せられる直接の原因になりたくない。
That's so much salt.
すまなかったな。助かった。
黒曜石の房飾り。藻に服しているのか。そんなに立派な方だったのですか？
ああ、小さい頃世話になった。
Interesting. A little bit more backstory.
普通の青年のようだ。
So we have the hairpin.
この人
He's
も
close to
一応
kind of like a
人間なんだな。
high-ranking, well-known bureaucrat. Obviously, his
そうだ。
guard.
昨日のものとは違うが、
Obviously, his guard, Yaoshin, or Goshen,
バレないように飲めよ。
is pretty
ありがとうござ
pretty
い
high
ま
up
す。
there too, based on the garden party. Is this a dream? Did she drink too much and now she's fallen in? You know, metaphorically. It's not Mamo.
ごきげんよう、人士様。
死体は見慣れているようだが。
慣れた光景です。花町は一歩裏に入れば無法地帯ですから。
死体に触れられないの
Kind
は
of
な
funny,
ぜ
all the
薬
women
の
are
師
just
匠に言われ
enamored
て
with
いる
him.
からです。
意味を
Even
嫌
in
う
the
からか。
stills, like right there too, she's still
Yeah.
blushing.
人間も薬の材料になるからです。
好奇心旺盛なお前のことだ。一度でも手を出したら墓荒らしくらいするだろう。絶対に一線を越えるな。
Dad's a smart guy.
なるほど。
失礼な反応だ。
Always kind of interesting in what she focuses in on.
娘
terms
は
of
小
kinda-
食の下女で、昨日まで普
I
通
guess
に
like a
働い
slight
ていた。
glimpse into what she's
衛兵の
feeling.
見解では
and then kinda like put
昨夜
herself
塀
in
に
those
登り
shoes.
堀に身を投げ
The
た。
person who's affected.
いわゆる投身自殺だろうと。
投身自殺。
Pretty
No.
common in like the other
自殺か
detective
どう
like
かはわかり
generic
ませんが、
shows,
少なくとも一人では無理だと思います。
criminal minds like
どういうことだ？
CSI, etc. Where
壁
they're kind
に
of
は
like
し
getting
ごはな
inside
く、
the mind of the
傍ら
killer
に登
and
る
or
ための
sometimes
道
the
具もな
victim
か
to
った
see
か
how
ら
they
で
got
す。
there.
高級の城壁は私の身長の4倍ほどあります。
道具がないと無理というわけか。
大抵の場合は。厳密に言うと、道具を使わずとも登ることはできます。以前あった幽霊騒ぎは覚えていますか？
不要費の件か。
はい。どうやって不要費が外壁に登ったのか疑問で、城壁を丹念に調べて回りました。そこで、職人が利用したと思われる突起を見つけたのです。ですが、大抵の女性は難しいでしょう。ましてや、あの下女のような転足のものは。転足とは、足が小さいほど美しいとされる風習だ。
Does that mean there's some foul
すべて
play
の
here?
女性に行われるわけではないが、高級でも特有の歩き方をたまに見かける。
自殺でないなら、
Hmm.
他殺だというのか。
What the
そ
twist?
れはわかりません。這い上がるために何度も彫りを描いたのでしょう。死体の指先が赤く血に染まっていました。
Also, I don't know if I'm really
Jesus.
loving the subtitles on Netflix because they recently added this as well, so I figured I'd try it out. I'm gonna go back to my other source after this video.
私なら自分から命を絶とうとは絶対に思わない。他人から殺されるのも真っ平だ。死んでしまえば薬も毒も試せない。でも、もし自分が死ぬとするなら、
You choose how you're gonna do it.
何
So
を考
where
え
she's
てい
kind
る？
of going?
死ぬならどんな毒にしようかと。
No, okay.
死ぬ気か。
めっそうもありません。ですが、 人はいつ死ぬかわかりません。
Maybe she was also
たと
ill.
え望まなくとも他人の悪意が加わることで不本意な死を遂げることがあります。光年様のように
This episode's been kind of interesting so far.
抗うことはできない。
Can't really pinpoint anything yet. We've been obviously kind of able to guess like just as we get there, but kind of don't understand the motive behind the bureaucrat. And the woman is kind of like a weird wrench into everything. Oh, okay. Interesting. In so many episodes lately, there's just so much of sad stuff going on. This is a beautiful little montage.
もし私を処刑する場合、毒殺にしていただけませんか？
なんでそうなる？
もし私が何か粗相をした場合、処分を下すのは人士様でしょうから。早速粗相をしてしまったのか。すみません。
Very interesting too, because obviously with the whole insight of like him having toys in the past and
いやだから
acting
なんで
differently
そう
with
なる？
Mao Mao.
私が平民だからです。些細な失敗
I
で
only
簡
assume
単に
he's
吹き
taking
飛
that
ぶ
even
命
harder.
です。
そんなことはしない。
Is he
する
still
しないで
interested?
はなく、できるできないですから。
And if he is someone super high up, like we kind of think, and he's been trapped in the palace the entire time, then just kind of this whole conversation around like life and death, it just doesn't hit him very well.
先日の報告がようやく届きました。
腕に火傷を負ったものを探せと言ってから2月も経っている。時間のかけすぎだ。
意外と大物でした。ザクロ級フォンミン。祝妃アード王妃の次女頭です。
We get another little bit sprinkled in front of us, and of course it's the ending. Now we're starting to get a whole lot of these episodes, not really like starting and ending in like one clean detective loop. We're starting to have these episodes expand out into, you know, outside the bounds of their just initial showing. And so similar to what we just saw with like the burn on the arm, that was a request from like 2 months ago to find out who actually had that. We're starting to have like longer arched stories here, which is, you know, definitely welcomed because it's gonna have to, you know, force me to be on my toes and remember everything, keep up to date with any new developments along the way. And then of course actually being able to come up with a theory even before Mao Mao potentially, which so far I don't think I've done very well. It's kind of like I mentioned before, where I'm starting to realize what's happening as it's happening, which is probably pretty common outside of me just kind of like shotgunning a guess or whatever and getting just a little lucky. And I want to say we had this in the previous one too, where we've kind of had like decoy or like I don't know, stuff kind of happening around the main event of the story, the episode, where they're trying to distract us from what's happening and pull our attention in another direction, forcing us to kind of forget or maybe muddy the waters a little bit of the overall like uncovering of the details and kind of creating that storyline and figuring out who the perpetrator is. So I think that might be another case with the lady who drowned. Like we don't have a lot to go off of, kind of like why and like why was this focused on for so long in the episode? What's the relation between like her and potentially anyone else that we've met along the way? And the same is true for the bureaucrat. So I'm assuming the main person that we have to focus on here is the bureaucrat, you know, his position and familiarity with the higher ups and kind of, I don't know, just everything there would be my guess. And then of course, like the burn on the arm, a little lost at this point, I won't lie. If there is anything I'm missing and you want to provide it without spoilers, then definitely in the comment section down below, I would appreciate that. Other than that, of course, we are starting to see some more of Jinshi's like humanity and just maybe taking away the facade that he's put up for everyone else, and Mao Mao's sort of recognizing it a little bit. Obviously she's pretty dense. He hasn't been his usual kind of like shiny self, so I think overall if we can add more just in terms of like the story, then it makes things a lot more interesting, at least as a viewer. And of course the relationship between him and Mao Mao and the other characters, like that's only going to further my interest in the story and want me to keep coming back and watch, right? Especially at my point in life, like I've never really liked fan service, and him just being like a playboy essentially, and that's like his only redeeming quality, if you want to call it that, is that he is a playboy, and so anytime he's on screen, you kind of already know what to expect. Where in this we can see, you know, he is mourning, He has the hairpin again, and we can keep bringing that back up. His identity is kind of like shielded from everyone else outside of his personal guard. So there's just a hint of mystery there, which is delicious. And again, just any complexity that we can add to these characters. And we're starting to see him, you know, branch out even more, and we're getting more insights into his character. And so, you know, Goshen essentially said like, hey, you're acting a little bit different. Like he's not his usual self. Whenever he does get bored, I'm assuming he again goes out and finds someone to kind of, you know, quell that boredom. And in the meantime, Mao Mao is kind of not that stereotypical toy. I kind of hate using that, but that's what they used. So he's not really being distracted in the normal way. Her being so dense is probably helping that. Him being treated so differently for probably like the first time, and not just like her absolutely fawning over him immediately, right? Is probably what's adding to his interest. Kind of, I don't want to say playing hard to get, because that's not really what she's doing in this case. However, I think he can appreciate and recognizes the depth of her intelligence and everything else. So I think that's kind of cool. Like we're seeing him also change, maybe not change, but we're also seeing his character develop in front of us outside of the normal MC. So yeah, I think that's going to probably be everything for today. Man, I think just those long arching stories is really what's going to keep bugging me for a little bit. I'm gonna have to probably go back and look at some details for the previous episodes, just make sure I kind of have all those lined up, and I know like slash remember why the arm being burnt was important. Woman who fell in, just kind of everything else that's happened up to this point. Probably have to go write that down just to get like a visual picture, hopefully, or at least just keep track of it. That'll probably be good too. But anyway, if you did enjoy the episode and you made it this far, if you want to give the video a like, it does help out the channel. And of course, if you want to follow along for any future videos, subscribing is the best way to keep up to date. As always, appreciate you. Till next time.